I was speaking to one of my elders this week and they said something extremely profound. She said, to explain is to expose. And I'm like, you better speak on it. Hi, it's Nicole and welcome to my channel where I get vocal about workplace bullying, harassment, intimidation, and all actions in between. I'm just going to get right into it. Last video, I told you guys about how Cruella was bullying me. Today, I am going to take a deep dive into how I got her to stop. And believe it or not, I simply accomplished that through documenting my retaliation and the harassment. The very last time I was summoned into Cruella's office, I was gaslit and berated to the point where I left there on the verge of tears and emotional, feeling like defeated, disappointed, disrespected, depressed, discouraged, that centered around the gaslighting, that also centered around insecurities that were building based off of working under Cruella in terms of my intelligence, my ability to do my job. So much so that when I left there, I immediately went to a professional to talk through those feelings. In this discussion, I was clearly able to understand that I was being bullied. Talking it through, having left what I had just encountered, those feelings of I've been here before, emotionally, spiritually. It's so many aspects of bullying, but in this moment, things truly clicked, and I decided, walking away from my conversation with the professional, that I was going to take my power back. So this is part one of how I stopped Cruella from bothering me. Note, I only did two things. And the very first step was to put it in writing. In my previous video, I gave you guys a lot of context about my encounters with Cruella. I believe in taking accountability. And so for me, I feel like a lot of what I encountered was not necessarily my fault, but because I did not stand up for myself, it led to further escalation. Typically, I am that type of person that is extremely reserved and quiet. Like, I want zero parts in any foolery, any drama, anything that is contradictory to who I am as a person. Especially in the workplace, I'm not really interested in all that. However, when you fail to stand up and speak up for yourself, you're kind of enabling people to take things further than necessary. So as reserved and quiet as I am, I'm usually off to the side, drinking my water, minding my business, paying my tithes. But me doing so only perpetuated Cruella to go way past a limit that she should have gone. In taking my power back, that very last conversation I had in Cruella's office, I was asked to go and think about whether or not I wanted to work for the organization and come back to her with an answer. I decided that I was going to come back with an answer in writing. This was my response. With that response, to be clear, I had no interest in going and presenting for the board. That wasn't the point. This was my end to draft everything that has transpired between she and I into writing. Her telling me that I'm no longer invited to participate was for malicious reasons on her end. I just decided to just go off of that. I knew she was going to respond, e.g. in the way that she did, and I used that as my way to address everything. And I want to share in details what I went through, e.g. the email that I sent to her in response to, I need you to go home and think about whether or not you want to work here, on top of the whole gaslighting conversation. So let's get into it. Good morning. I am confused.
I am the Director of Youth Programs, and I have been the Director for the last 4 years. I would expect to be present to speak on the program I was hired for. I do accept your decision, but I am perplexed. I am starting to become unclear as I reflect on your discussion with me on Monday, in which you stated, I do not seem like I like working for or like you. It occurred to me that I have been asked by you to speak with you in your office 3 times over the course of 4 months. With those 3 conversations, all have been a direct reflection in response to something personal and not my job performance.
Here is where I'm establishing, sis, I'm clocking you. I understand exactly what it is that you're doing, and let me spell it out for you.
On Monday, June 24th, the first time you asked to speak with me was in regards to A's email to you, where I was asked to coordinate a meeting to retrieve a hard drive from her. You inquired with me about a comment she directed to you, in which I was asked, what does she mean by said comment?
This is going to be a quick story time within a story time. So, Cruella and the former employee, which was pretty much my partner in the arts, she resigned. When she got up to resign, Cruella 5 minutes later was standing behind me doing this. Just very immature. So I see her out of the corner of my eye and I'm like, okay. She walks into the office. She asks me to come and speak with her. She immediately offers me her job with the young lady deciding that she was going to resign. She gave her 2 months warning. Cruella decided that she didn't want her to last that long. So technically she fired her. In the midst of that, there was a conversation in which the young lady asked, what do you want me to do with X, Y, and Z, things that I have, so on and so forth. And she was like, I don't care, you can throw it away, because Cruella's petty. So you want her to throw away valuable things? She said she didn't care what she did with it. She can dispose of it, whatever. The young lady and I had a conversation like, listen, I'm going to need those things, what have you, so on and so forth. However, when it came to the young lady leaving, Cruella didn't understand that you changed her resignation letter to reflect that technically you fired her. She wasn't that smart to understand that when that young lady said, okay, that's fine, I can leave early, just, change the information on the letter, she did and was able to go and file unemployment. There were some communications between Cruella and the young lady because Cruella felt like she got technically. And so now it's my fault when the young lady replies back to an email in which we are requesting from her stuff that she said that she can do whatever she wants to do with it. Now you need stuff. Now you want your assistant to reach out to her and require things. I say leave me off of that email. In essence, the young lady read Cruella her rights. And because she's offended by getting got and having her tail needing to be tucked between her legs, she's inquiring with me what the young lady meant. I'm not responsible for answering for her email. That is not her asking me what that meant. Even if I knew it's not appropriate for you to be asking, go ask her. Be bold enough to go and ask her. Approach her. But to call me into your office to explain somebody else's email, no ma'am.
I was asked to respond to a former employee's words and was informed about what you do for your employees. Then words were directed towards me in which I had to interject and confirm you were now talking, directing, making comments to me. I was asked to come to your office regarding matters that did not pertain to my role as a director of youth programs.
I brought up the aura in the office, the toxic environment. I spoke up about it. But because I spoke up about it, now it's being held against me. And not only is it being held against me, she's trying to be passive aggressive by mentioning it, but not necessarily saying that she's talking about me. She's pretending to talk about the other young lady. And it's given no. I know what you're directing towards me right now is to me. You're pretending to bring me in here to question me about her, but what you really came to do was attack me. And I called her out for it. I'm like, well, pause. Because you started over here, now you like, and you. And this is what I do for, this is what I do for everybody, and da-da-da-da-da. And it was too personal for me to be like, oh, you're talking about her. No, I'm not smart.
On Wednesday, July 31st, the second time you asked to speak with me was in regards to me declining your invitation to go to your home for dessert and mini massages, to only participate in the luncheon. Via email and in person, I was asked to explain why I would not be attending. The opportunity was presented as a staff luncheon and relaxation, as well as a celebration. But in discussion with you, on this day, the events were put together for me, my benefit as a team building exercise, and it was problematic I was opting out of going to your home.
That gaslighting. Now she's trying to say, and I've explained this before, everything that she's trying to do is for my benefit. She's doing all of this for me. She's trying to gaslight me that my saying no is throwing a whole monkey wrench in her strong efforts to address my concerns about the aura and the toxicity in the office. Even though her appeasing me, if that's what she's trying to do, has nothing to do with the fact that she's the one creating the toxic environment. Why does she want me to go to her house so badly? Ma'am, come close. Come hither. Do understand, there is absolutely no way you can impress me. I'm not interested in going to your house. I'm not interested in understanding more about you as a person and individual. I know exactly everything that it is that I need to know. Knock it off. You have been clocked. Period.
It was said to me by you that in the earlier days, people worked to collect a paycheck. Now they want to be happy at their jobs. However, I assured you, I work as I enjoy what I do, because if it was about the money, I would not be working here. As you know, does not provide me health care as a full-time employee, and the base salary for my position is $60K. Arts education is a vital role in youth development, and I value my job and doing my job effectively for the organization beyond my paycheck, that I am appreciative of and do not take for granted. Monday, September 30th, was the third time you asked to speak with me in regards to me not going to lunch with you, S&J, last Monday, September 24th, after your panel discussion. During the event, you sent the group text to all three of us inviting us to lunch. I informed you I would like to attend, but I also had a university meeting. You suggested Tin Lindsay.
Tin Lindsay is a Mexican restaurant. Who's having Mexican in the middle of the day at work where there is no personal restroom at your disposal? Not me and my stomach. The way my orifices are set up is giving no ma'am. I'm not doing that. I am going to be very transparent with this. Because I know how she operates, I accept it. But I threw in there immediately that I had somewhere to go, which was true. I had a meeting, so I was going to be on a time limit. When she said a restaurant I didn't even want to go to, I was like, that's my out. But I'm also trying to make light of the situation so she doesn't take offense. I suggested Hooters, knowing darn well we weren't going to any Hooters, but I gotta play these games because she is going to take offense if I immediately say no. Because in her mind, she's doing all of this for me.
I jokingly mentioned Hooters. You replied that Tin Lizzie's was the decision, and I went to my meeting. Upon speaking with you this past Monday, you expressed your thoughts about me not liking the organization, in which I am confirming are not my feelings, and shared a list of what you have done for me as my boss and I as your employee.
Now, again, this is that gaslighting. She is trying to bait me in this sense of saying, I want you to quit, versus me firing you because I really don't have a reason to. So she's trying to push me out. She wants me to quit. She wants me to do it on my terms like the other young lady did. There is no basis of her firing me. So she's trying to gaslight me by saying I act like I don't want to be there. She can't prove to me what I'm doing to say I don't want to be there. Because if she did, she would have said, you didn't come to my house. You didn't go to lunch after the conference. She can't say that. So she has to make me feel guilty and horrible about myself as an employee of an organization that I'm committed to, where I'm being underpaid, provided no health care, and being disrespected. Where are they doing that at?
On 3 occasions in 9 months, I have been asked to write about my likes and dislikes about working at in some form. I have never come to you outside of you inquiring with me to share my thoughts that I am unhappy, that being verbal or nonverbal. I have complied and have responded to your 3 requests on December 12th, July 7th, and September 24th, swiftly and honestly as you have asked.
Because here's the thing, don't ask me my opinion and then get vexed about my response. You asked. You sought me out, inquiring. You didn't like my responses. Don't ask, sis.
If referred back to them all, I have abbreviated my responses over time, but the references are all the same.
So in essence, each time, I'm writing less and less. Because of how she came at me that first time, I knew that there was an agenda behind it. One, because when you ask someone or you say something or you do something multiple times, there's a reason behind that. So her asking me to do these activities and these exercises wasn't by happenstance. The only thing is that she's including the others so it doesn't look as obvious that she's singling me out to be the one to do it.
It was mentioned that I have not signed a fellow coworker's birthday card, nor text another coworker regarding the passing of her mother.
I'm pretty sure who she's referencing in terms of that birthday card was Ursula. And here's the thing. I don't have to do anything I do not want to do. Signing somebody's birthday card is not a requirement of my job. Now, I can do it out of the kindness and courteousness. However, I'm not fake in that way. In terms of me not having a conversation with my coworker about her mother, that is a lie. My personal conversations about her mom's passing was she and I's personal conversation. Why is Ursula inquiring with her if I reached out to her about her mother? Again, none of this has to do with my job. 0 parts. Signing somebody's birthday card or me going and have a conversation about somebody's mom's passing. Her doing that, again, is all about that bullying and harassing.
You stated that me not going to lunch last week was the result of why you were asking me personally for the 3rd time about my likes and dislikes about the organization.
Because I questioned her about it. I'm like, sis, what's really going on? Why do you keep asking me this? For why? Do you keep asking me this? Then it was well, you didn't go to lunch. So now you're admitting what I already knew. But okay, cool.
That your mentor, advisor, told you to ask me one last time. They said that you were doing all of this for one person. Can they not be replaced?
This is that gaslighting. So now she has an advisor, a mentor that she needed to go and talk to get some advice. And that advisor is telling her, like, listen, you're doing all of this for one person. And so, can she not be replaced? I'm hearing her loud and clear. Hence why she's asking me to go off and decide whether or not I want to work there. There's no greater way for somebody to say, I don't like you and I don't want you here, other than to play in your face and say, tell me why you want to be here. If you want me to go, say that. Say it with your full chest. My whole thing was keep the thing, the thing. The thing was, I'm working for this organization and that's all I'm going to be focused on. The job I was hired to do.
You asked me to decide if I wanted to continue working at, in which I have since replied, yes.
So in that moment, I said yes, but she wanted me to go off and think about it. Have a revelation. Okay.
August 1st, I was asked and I accepted to attend the board meeting. But Monday, after our one-on-one, it appears I am disinvited via email to present about the youth programs on next Thursday. I have requested from you, beginning July 10th, for a new job description to reflect my new role so that I fulfill the duties of my job with clarity and precision.
And so the reason why I did that is to eliminate any foolery. If I'm clear on my roles and expectations, and you are clear that I am clear, then there's no problems. Because me, I'm making it about the work. She's not making it about the work. She's taking it personally. So all I'm concerned about is, am I doing what this job description told me to do? What pissed her off is that I actually asked. I need HR, which they do not have. So whomever needs to come up with it, I need you guys to provide me clarity of my roles and expectations. That is not something far-fetched for me to ask when I'm getting promoted.
As of September 24th, I have received it. Thank you. I must now inquire, what can I do for you, the organization, that I am not currently doing, so I can produce the best results for the organization with continuing to successfully manage 2 programs and 5 schools. I am in agreement with you in wanting to work to get on track. It is not my intent to inquire for any other reasons than for clarity. Please advise. Looking forward to moving and progressing forward. Best regards, Nicole.
So with all of that, about 15 minutes later, she replies, Nicole, let me know a good time for us to talk today. I'll review your lengthy response. You want to talk? That's cool too. And of course, we are going to dissect that as well. I want to apologize if my tone was a little bit more assertive today than normal, but I'm triggered. Just reading this, just going through that, just going through what I went through, knowing that I was bullied in this way, harassed in this way, retaliated against in this way. There's no way I can share this particular experience when I am simply triggered. So that's today's video. This was just part 1 of what I did. Part 2 will be coming up. We will be taking a deep dive into the second thing that I did to get Cruella to stop bothering me. But stay tuned for what that is. I really want to thank you guys so much for watching. And of course, I just want to say, I'm gonna make this one personal. Because at the end of the day, I love everybody. So Cruella, I want to say this to you. Because maybe you have not heard this enough. You have not heard this often. You may not feel it. You may not know it. That you are loved. But understand, I love you regardless, and there's nothing that you can do about it. And to everybody else, if no one else told you, let me be the one to say, I love you. Bye.